Hey guys, it's April Villines with the Villines Property Group at Real Broker, and today I am giving you exactly what you've been asking for. Ever since we did our battle, Raleigh versus Charlotte, you guys have been wanting a Asheville versus Charlotte. Which one's better? So today, I'm gonna tell you. Asheville is where we're gonna start today. We're gonna talk today about my pros and cons for the Asheville area, why you should live there. Now, Asheville is located on the western side of the state of North Carolina, in the Pisgah National Forest, right at the base of the Appalachian Mountains. It's a beautiful area. You've got mountains, skiing, everything that goes along with it. You wouldn't believe the trails, the waterfalls, all the gorgeous stuff. But I'm gonna give you my pros outside of the obvious reasons why you would go to Asheville, which is it's beautiful, okay? Number one pro, you get 4 different seasons when you're in Asheville. You get the summer, spring, fall, and winter. The leaves are absolutely insanely gorgeous in the fall. It beats it all year round. Then in the winter, you get snow, so you get to enjoy like a happy Christmas and all the wonderful holiday feelings, and it really does feel snowy and you can bundle up in front of a fire. Springtime is beautiful. The flowers, the tulips, the trees, everything is in bud. And then summer, it's beautiful but not too hot, which is really, really nice. You still get that warm summer hot air, but not the humidity and the craziness that we get in other parts of the state. Now, my second pro for Asheville is that you really have a more mature residents there. 18% of the residents in Asheville are over 65. So you do have a little bit of a more mature crowd, a little bit older crowd, and life is a little bit slower there, which is kind of a nice thing. I enjoy it, to be honest. On the flip side of that coin leads me right into my third pro, which is there is a thriving music industry. There's tons of outdoor sports to do in Asheville, and that attracts a younger crowd as well. So while you do have the older crowd of 65 and older, you've also got a young and vibrant community with 52.8% of people under 30. That's a huge piece of the demographics. So you get a really good eclectic feel. They have fantastic breweries, they've got amazing music, they've got really cool places to go like the Biltmore and Black Mountain, and there's all these shopping areas around there. Tons and tons of stuff to do, and the beautiful scenery around you. So why would I not want to be in Asheville? So that weather I was telling you about, it is great, it is beautiful, but it can turn on a dime. You can have beautiful warm air, nice breezes coming through, and then bam, all of a sudden you're in the middle of a snowstorm. It can happen very quickly, and it does snow late in the year up there in the mountains. So if you're not a snow person, that is probably not where you want to be. My husband Jeff was just up there the other day showing a house on Sugar Mountain, and guess what? People were skiing and it was 60 degrees. Now they were making snow, but it can literally turn on a dime. Now that being said, if you really like the changing seasons and cooler temperatures, maybe it is not a con, maybe it's a pro. So my con number 2, this is historically a touristy area. You have Pigeon Forge not far away, you've got Tennessee right there. So people are coming to the mountains, they're in and out, they're not always staying, and it can be very touristy. So with that, it's not exactly my favorite thing to do is to go to live in a very super touristy place. So that's con number 2. Now let's talk about number 3. This one surprised me because homes in Asheville are crazy expensive. The real estate market is unbelievable out there. But what surprised me is that the national average salary for the US is $58,000. Okay, great. In Asheville, it's only $47,000. With the cost of housing, that was shocking to me. I wasn't super excited about that. So if you're going there for retirement, maybe it's not so bad, but the cost of living is gonna be higher. I don't know. You've got to make up your mind on that. All right, so time to come to you and duke it out about Charlotte. Now, in our Raleigh video, we gave you some of our favorite things about Charlotte. I'm gonna give you different ones today because there's so many to choose from. So number 1 pro is we have a super strong job market here in the Charlotte area. You have banks and hospitals and tech companies, and you name it, we've got it. So if you're looking for new job relocation, or you want to work in a new industry, or even continue in the current industry you're in, Charlotte might be the place for you to do that. It is a fantastic job market, very healthy, and a lot of low unemployment numbers. Currently, we're running about 3%, which is really great. Now, my pro number 2 is that the cost of living in Charlotte is actually 2 to 5% lower than the national average of the US. So that's pretty great. You still have reasonable options for housing with suburbs and all the areas around Charlotte. So you can get to work in a reasonable amount of time and still have a great city at your fingertips. So that's my reason number 2 for loving it here. Now, number 3, in-state colleges are phenomenal. So we have Duke, and we've got NC State, and we've got App State, and we've got all the great Chapel Hill colleges, the Research Triangle, and all of those schools are nearby, which is fantastic for the state itself, but that doesn't give you a leg up on Asheville. However, Charlotte is ranked a B+ on niche.com for its public school district, which is pretty fantastic overall. When you look at schools as a whole, you want to have a good public education system. Well, gee, April, it sounds like Asheville is great, and it sounds like Charlotte is great. So what are the bad things about Charlotte? We have a very limited public transportation here in the Charlotte area. There's just not a lot of ways to get around. Now, they've added the light rail, there are bus routes, there are things of that nature, but it's just not quite enough. It's very limited in its scope and how far it goes out, especially when you're in the suburbs and you're trying to commute into the city. That's probably my number 1 con. Now, my number 2 reason is, and this is funny because I'm not technically from here, I've lived here a long time, but the cultural roots of a true Charlottean is missing in the area. Why? We have a lot of transplants, a lot of people moving from out of state, relocating to the area. Now, that is job security for us, being the number 1 relocation team. However, I do understand that it does take away from the native Charlottes that have lived here all of their lives. They are outnumbered now. They are a minority in the area. So if you find someone who is from Charlotte, sit them down, buy them a cup of coffee, and talk to them. They can tell you all the cool stuff that you never knew you wanted to know. All right, so my number 3 con is taxes. This one you just can't get away from. So the tax right now in Charlotte is 4.75%, which is awful, right? Nobody wants to pay taxes. But then you also have a sales tax of 7.25%. That's pretty high. And when you put them together, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. You're paying property tax on top of sales tax, and you're just paying tax. So with those taxes, you do have to consider the fact that Asheville is running a 2.25% right now tax rate on top of that 7.25. So it is slightly lower than Charlotte is right now, but it is something to take into consideration. It's not a lot of difference, but you do have to think about it. If I compared the two of them, I have to honestly say that Charlotte's taxes are a bit higher. So all of that being said, I think that brings us to the final conclusions and how do you feel? So Charlotte's got a little bit more of a eclectic kind of group of people that have come from all over the country. All of them are very diverse. They're bringing in different cultures to the Charlotte area, and you're kind of part of building that here in the Charlotte region, which I think is pretty amazing. Now, if you're looking for something that's already established, you might be looking for Asheville. I think Asheville is a beautiful place to visit. I love going there to visit, but with the tourism, I just really don't care for it as much as I do for my permanent home. So for me, Charlotte is the winner. I have to go with Charlotte on this one. I really believe that visiting Asheville is one of the most beautiful places you can be. If you're looking for maybe that retirement feel or maybe that mountain getaway, snow-capped feel, I think it's a fantastic place to be. I love it in Asheville, but I have to pick Charlotte for my everyday living. I hope this video was helpful for you. Drop in your comments below, which one would you choose and why? Did I leave out some of your favorite things about either of these two cities? Because I want to hear about it. Can't wait to talk to you all soon. Don't forget to reach out to us.